Welcome to Milwaukee, Wisconsin for ABC's NCAA basketball presented by Cialis. A Conference USA matchup between two future Big East Conference teams, Marquette and DePaul. If DePaul wins, it'll stay one game back of Louisville and Charlotte for the top spot in the league. Marquette is currently in 9th place with an 0-7 record against the 8 teams ahead of them in the standings. Travis Diener, one of the top players in the country, one of only 2 in the nation to lead his league in scoring and in assists, but coming off his worst game of the season, only 9 points on 2 of 16 shooting in a loss against Louisville on Thursday. Dave Pasch alongside Jimmy Dykes. All these games, Jimmy, this time of year have postseason implications. In your opinion, who needs this game more here today?
I think Marquette needs to win more. I think that means very much to both ball clubs. You think of DePaul right now, if this was Selection Sunday, they're a lock and they're in. With another quality win on the road today, they're now playing for a better seed in the March bracket that's going to come out in 3 weeks. Marquette, on the other hand, they're off the bubble and not on the right side. They've got to win out, in my opinion, at least get to the finals of the Conference USA tournament. A loss here today for Marquette, they are done unless they win CUSA tournament.
Jimmy, we mentioned that Travis Diener had his worst game of the season in his last game. His cousin Drake Diener had his best game of the year in his last game, 25 at Charlotte, including 7 3-point field goals made. Cumont Greer is the leading scorer for DePaul, second in the league at 19.5 points per game. He's also 8th in Conference USA in rebounding. Marquette has been very good at home during the Tom Crean era, winning 82% of their games. They have not lost to DePaul at the Bradley Center since the year 2000. Jackson against Brumfield at center court, and we are underway from Milwaukee. Joe Chapman has the opening tap, and here is Travis Diener, the senior from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
Both clubs will play a variety of defenses today. Primarily, the gut defense for both clubs is man-to-man.
Novak, one of the top 3-point shooters in the country, the all-time leader in Marquette in 3-point percentage.
That's an important start for Marquette. I think they struggle in the half court. If you take Travis Diener out of the ball game, and you can do it with a physical defender. He needs help around him, and Novak's a guy that can help.
Sammy Mejia with the ball, had 26 in the first meeting against Marquette.
Matchup zone for Marquette to start this ball game. They must be aware of where 33 in the blue jersey is, because he has been on fire shooting that basketball the last 2 games.
With 6 on the timer, Seal shot won't go. Greer, a terrific offensive rebounder, able to out-battle Chapman. His jump shot too strong, and it's rebounded by Todd Townsend, making his 4th start of the year.
Marquette's a club that will face guard you on the defensive board play. As a result, you can come up with some loose balls against them when the ball's above the rim.
Marcus Jackson has it punched out of there by Greer. Last touch by DePaul. Take a look at the Toyota starting lineups. We mentioned Greer second in the league in scoring. Mejia had that 26-point game against Marquette, and Seals playing in his 100th game as a Blue Demon. Brumfield has also played well in spurts, had a double-double Wednesday against Charlotte, 12 points, 11 rebounds.
DePaul really getting out and chasing hard with a hard hedge on Diener's ball screens early in this game.
Jackson able to save it to Novak, 2 to shoot. Townsend gets it off. And Brumfield clears the glass.
And you can see DePaul's game plan coming in. Make someone other than Travis Diener beat him in the half-court set. They do that by doubling up when Diener works off of a ball screen, and then discouraging his touch when he assumes the role of a 2-guard in the half-court.
Marquette started the season 13-1, but 4-7 since. DePaul at 22 games played, 16 wins, their most since their Sweet 16 year of 1987 at this stage of the season. Greer throws it away after it had a shot blocked, and DePaul still without a point in the first 2 minutes. Toyota starting lineup for Marquette: Diener, Chapman, Jackson, Townsend, and Novak. Townsend averaging 9 points per game as a starter at 12 in a loss against Louisville on Thursday, a game in which Marquette blew a second-half lead of 11 points. Louisville scored the final 14 points of the game and beat Marquette by 3.
Marquette with 1 real quality win this year against Wisconsin. They are 2 wins away and could have won both of them. The game against Arizona here back early in the year, and Louisville Thursday night. If they won those 2 games, they would be right there with a strong consideration.
Townsend strong to the glass. His first basket. It's 5-zip Marquette.
Townsend's really been good, Dave, the last 5 or 6 ball games. that starting role, getting 9 or 10 points a game. Doesn't sound like a lot, but again, this is a club that has struggled for offense this year, with the exception of Travis Diener.
This game meaningful for Townsend, a senior from Chicago, which is the home of DePaul. Seals in the paint. Rolls home for the first points for DePaul today.
You know, Seals is a kid that's always been able to get into the lane in the half-court offense. Now he can get in there and stop and just make shots over the top of you with his 6'4", 6'5" frame.
Dave Lato in his third year at DePaul led the Blue Demons to their first tournament 4 years last year and won their first NCAA tournament game since 1989. Has done a great job at DePaul, as has Tom Crean at Marquette.
Talk about Dave Lato. He took over a program that was 9-19 the year prior to him taking the job. 16-13, 22 wins last year in the NCAAs. Deservedly got a contract extension in August. And again, the half-court offense, the basket scored by Marquette in this game in the middle of the possession, that's what they need. They're great at early offense. They're great at late offense. They lack that middle stuff.
Novak hit the three, a career 45% shooter from behind the arc. Diener looking to run after the career turnover. Diener bumped by Seals. He almost made that shot. Foul on the ground, though, before the shot. First in the game.
A good example of the early offense that Tom Crean's club excels at right now when the ball's in the hands of his point guard, Travis Diener. Tom Crean, a guy that's been to the Final Four as an assistant at Michigan State. Took this Marquette club to the Big Dance 2 years ago to the Final Four. And you must get on Travis Diener early in the possession because he is outstanding with a lot of numbers left on the shot clock.
Here he is from way out. Diener, the all-time leader in threes made at Marquette. And the Golden Eagles have hit all 3 of their triples in the first 3:47, and they lead by 9.
Travis Diener has the gut level check about him to come back from a 2 for 15 or 2 for 16 ball game and then just start right back in the next game and just start hitting big shots on you. This guy plays with an arrogance and a cockiness that I think you have to play with when you're 6'1" and about 175 pounds. Again, a flat-out fierce competitor. If you could just take his heart and project him into the NBA, he'd be a lock for a first-round pick. Unfortunately, his physical side of his game is the question mark on him for the next level.
101st meeting between Marquette and DePaul. 8th meeting between the cousins, Travis and Drake Diener. Marquette has won 7 of the last 9 in this series and 4 in a row at home. Travis not only going against his cousin Drake, who plays for DePaul, but also Drew, who is the brother of Drake, who's an assistant coach at DePaul and played at St. Louis. Travis's sisters also play college basketball. Rachel at St. Louis, Brittany at Lewis. And Drake's dad, Dick, was the high school coach of Drake and Travis Diener.
Saw that sign that our Diener is better than your Diener? Well, that includes a whole bunch of folks, doesn't it? You're talking about Sister Brittany is better than the cousin, and all kinds of things there.
Family affair from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Final meeting, at least scheduled meeting between the two Dieners as Greer gets the basket, his first points. It's 11-4 Marquette.
Nice job by DePaul coming out of the timeout to get the ball in the hands of their go-to guy. Flash a big in the middle, let Greer post up and turn those big shoulders to create space.
Novak with a fall away. He's got 8 points already, averages 13 per game on the season.
And any 2-point baskets, I think, out of Novak are a real bonus in this ball game. Still primarily a catch-and-shoot guy on the perimeter, although he's 6'9".
3 out of 3 from the field is Novak, who scored in double figures in 6 straight games and is a deuce away from making it 7 in a row. Here's Drake Diener. Seals into the lane, scored there earlier, missed that time, and a strong rebound by Marcus Jackson, the 3rd biggest improvement in rebounding this season in college basketball. Went from 2.5 last year to 8.5 this year. Jackson with an offensive foul as Brumfield stepped in front to take the charge. Great start offensively for Marquette. Steve Novak is 3 for 3 from the floor. A couple of triples in this nice fall away jump on the baseline. Back at the Bradley Center, Dave Pash with Jimmy Dykes. Great start, Jimmy, for Marquette. 9-point lead with less than 5 minutes played.
Well, Marquette bottling up Humont Greer right now with this zone early. A little bit of a gamble by Marquette to play the zone because 21 offensive rebounds by DePaul in their first matchup. But again, I think Tom Crean is like me. He doesn't buy into the fact that you can't rebound as good as a zone and a man. It is, if you practice it, you can do them both.
Drake Diener, who had 25 the other night, misses. His cousin on the other end, Travis, missing, and seals the rebound for the Blue Demons. DePaul, the top rebounding team in Conference USA.
I think DePaul needs to send cutters through early in their offense just to make sure, is Marquette in a man or in a zone. They're in a man on this trip, and they isolate Greer on the box because of it.
Beautiful move. 4 quick points for Cumont Greer, a senior playing in his hometown of Milwaukee. Went to Vincent High School here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Greer has big, wide shoulders, and he uses his shoulders to create space and get the defense off of him just enough to get a shot up. Really uses his body well, and there's the hard hedge on Travis Diener, again forcing the ball out of his hands.
Good ball movement. Chapman missed the 3. And a foul on Greer. Second on DePaul. First foul on Greer. Let's take a look at Marquette's tournament resume. Record of 17-8, 2 games under 500 in the league.
Well, it doesn't look good. Again, their quality win is against Wisconsin. 2 key losses, winnable games. They lost both of them, Arizona and Louisville. Look at their top 100, Dave. 2-7. And again, I think they have major work to do. They're not the only club in the country right now with major work to do, but I think they've got to win not only today, they've got to win out and get at least to the finals of the Conference USA tournament. Their RPI is too high. The quality wins just aren't there right now.
Foul on Brumfield. 3 fouls on DePaul, first on Brumfield. Well, Marquette in 9th place in Conference USA does not have a win against any of the teams ahead of them in the standings. If they were to beat DePaul today, it would be Tom Crean's first against one of the 8 squads in front of the Golden Eagles in Conference USA. Mike Kinsella, rarely used sophomore from Rochester, Minnesota, has checked into the game, wearing number 40 in gold.
Look at teams like Houston and UAB ahead of Marquette in Conference USA standings. RPIs are about the same. Those are the teams right now that are closer to being on the bubble than Marquette.
Reset for Diener, 15 to shoot.
He can get real dangerous with that shot clock winding down. They find a way to find him.
Shot clock at 5. Kinsella's got to do something with it. Novak from way out. His first miss of the day. And Burns with the rebound. Diener ahead of the pack. Beautiful move with the left hand. His first basket of the game, and DePaul's within 5. 7 minutes gone by.
That basket occurred because Travis Diener got caught on the baseline when the shot was taken. He's the defensive balance. The 2 guard in the lineup, Mason, right now didn't recognize it to get back.
Drake Diener averaging 15 points per game in Conference USA games, and the leading 3-point shooter in league games. Here's Townsend off the bounce. Walked.
They're going to see the missed shot, and Diener gets hung up underneath the rim. He's actually out of bounds when the shot's taken. As a result, you've got your 4-man Novak as the defensive balance guy, and he's not going to stop people at the rim. He doesn't have that type of athletic ability to slide over and take charges or get the ball up top.
Mejia, who had 26 in the first meeting, shooting over Mason and scoring his first basket of the game. DePaul has scored the last 6 points. Marquette has not scored in the last 3 minutes.
Mejia and Seals for DePaul, Dave. They're 2 guards on the perimeter of 6'4" and 6'5". They have the ability to get to the lane and even get the shot off over pretty good defense because of their size.
Offensive foul on Travis Diener. First on him, second on Marquette. We looked at the Marquette resume earlier. Let's take a peek at the DePaul NCAA tournament resume.
It's much better than Marquette's. You look at their top 100 RPI wins. They're 7-2 in that situation. Key wins against Notre Dame and Cincinnati. And again, they're in a good league right now and only 1 game out of first place. I think they're a lock if the tournament started today. A win today, they're a lock from here on out, and they're just playing for how good's their seed going to be.
They're playing awfully well of late. They had won 4 in a row until a 4-point loss at Charlotte on Wednesday. The 49ers might be the best team in Conference USA. Greer comes up with a steal. Turnovers in the last couple of possessions by Marquette.
Over the last 100 years that basketball has been played or more, you still cannot feed the post from directly up top and try to get it down to the low block. The angle is not there. It shouldn't take kids 100 years to learn the lesson.
I'm sure Tom Crean is thinking the same thing over on that Marquette bench.
His thoughts may be even a little stronger than mine.
Green as fiery a competitor as you'll find in college basketball. As Drake Diener, the top three-point shooter in the league, ties the game.
Cannot let him get loose. You have to stay attached physically to Drake Diener because he's shooting that basketball the last 2 games as well as anyone in the country. So his confidence is at a 10 right now on the scale.
He's got 14 threes in his last 2+ games and a 9-0 run by DePaul. First 3 of the game for the Blue Demons. Travis Diener scores, a blocking foul as well. And that ends the 9-0 run by DePaul.
You know what I like about Travis Diener? You can chew his rear out because his cousin just knocked down a 3 on him, and it doesn't faze him. See Travis get hung up on a screen, but he comes right back and answers on the other end.
Back at the Bradley Center, DePaul trailing Marquette by 2. The Blue Demons trying to get back to the NCAA tournament after getting to the second round last season.
Well, the good news for them, the key losses occurred early in the year. They're playing outstanding basketball during the month of January and now February. Good wins at Notre Dame and against Cincinnati, a strong RPI, but you cannot trust that RPI deal as much as we think. I think last year the selection committee, they brought up the RPI factor only 8 to 10 different times in their meetings, so that tells you they look at a whole lot more than just the RPI. Case in point, Wichita State we saw yesterday with a 41 RPI. I didn't understand it then. I don't understand it now when you consider a team like Memphis out of this league with a 109. Memphis is better than Wichita State in my opinion. I've seen them both.
And better than Miami of Ohio, which has an RPI of 26. You could make a case better than Vermont, which has an RPI of 15.
Do not put a lot of stock in that RPI right now.
Mejia cannot get the roll, but he's fouled. That's the 3rd team foul on Marquette, first on Chapman. Coming up next, join Mike Tirico, Nick Faldo, and Paul Azinger in Los Angeles for the Nissan Open. It's next right here on ABC Sports. We are resuming play today in Los Angeles. Join Mike and the gang following us here on ABC. Tom Crean has watched the game a run so far. 13-4 start by Marquette, 9-0 run by DePaul, answered by Diener's basket.
Busy Marquette staff today. The reason why they're actually charting the touches of Drake Diener for DePaul. Forget about the touches of their own Diener. They're concerned about how many touches does 33 in blue get. There you see Jeff Strom, a terrific assistant coach, is ready for a head coaching job. Ryan Wardle used to play here. Trey Schwab, an outstanding story there. But those guys have their hands full today with this DePaul team. You know they have respect for a guy when they're not concerned about how many shots does he get off, how many touches does he get, and that's what they're charting.
Diener's taken 3 shots already, made 2, 5 points, 3 assists for Travis Diener, 5 points, no assists for Drake Diener, Travis's cousin. Amoroso had a man backside but couldn't see him. Shot clock at 10. Mason from outside playing with a sore Achilles. Drake Diener with a backside rebound.
And again, I think Marquette is they grade out about a C+ in that mid-possession type game. They're great early offense and they're good late offense, but that mid-range 25 to 10 second type stuff, I think you can guard them.
15 on the DePaul timer. Diener against Diener.
Here's a threat to sweep and drive from the perimeter. He's such a hard guard in this league because of his size.
Another Milwaukee native, Draylon Burns, traveling. Freshman from Custer High School here in Milwaukee. Seals back into the game for DePaul. 15-14, Marquette leads DePaul. The Golden Eagles need to win out and have success in their postseason tournament. Another turnover, 5th of the game by Marquette. Burns driving and scoring, and DePaul has the lead by 1.
2 turnovers now for Marquette by trying to feed the post from directly up top. You know, one of the original rules of basketball when it was invented with a peach basket was traveling. That was one of the original 13 rules. The 14th rule should have been do not feed the post from up top. That should be a rule.
So Marquette started out well shooting the basketball, but only 2 points in the last 5.5 minutes. Another near turnover, swatted last, looked like by Jackson, and it was. So another turnover by Tom Crean's Marquette team.
DePaul terrific defensively in Conference USA play, only allowing 63 points a game. Again, absolutely no passing angle at all, trying to feed the post. You can get it there against sorry teams, but these aren't sorry teams in Conference USA. You better execute.
6 turnovers, 6 field goals for Marquette. And Greer, 4-3 from the corner.
Can really hurt you, Dave, from a lot of areas. He's terrific around the rim, has just enough stuff in his perimeter game to make you guard him honestly.
He shot 14% last year from 3, right around 40% this year from 3. Amoroso, nice looking freshman from Minnesota, knocks down the jump shot.
Has only played organized ball not a real long time, led his Minnesota high school team to a state title. Amoroso.
You're watching ABC Sports Championship Television. 2-point lead for DePaul. Cumont Greer, the senior for DePaul, playing in his final game in his hometown of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, having a great game so far.
Well, he impacts the game in so many areas. As an offensive rebounder, he gets you extra possessions. He challenges guys around the rim defensively. At 6'7" and 245, he's a load on that low block. He's got enough versatility on the perimeter as well. He's, in my opinion, one of the top 3 or 4 players in Conference USA this year. If I had to vote right now, Eddie Basden from Charlotte would be my player of the year because of all the categories that guy ranks in the top 10 or 15 in this league. Basden, I think, is the most versatile and has had the best year overall out of Conference USA.
Of course, Diener's had a great year leading Marquette in Conference USA in scoring and assists. Greer, second in scoring, 8th in rebounding. 6 double-doubles. Novak and hit the bank shot. And Greer with another rebound, his second of the game. He's got 7 points to go along with those 2 boards.
Because Marquette lacks a true back-to-the-basket score in the half court, that makes it even more imperative that they get early offensive points and late in the possession points.
Mejia driving into the way, but it's cut off.
Great man defense out of the team in yellow. They've shown some matchup zone. Don't be surprised if they don't try to no-catch Drake Diener in a box-and-1 at some point in this game.
Offensive foul called on Lorenzo Thompson. 5th foul on DePaul. Al McGuire Court at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. Dave Pash with Jimmy Dykes for a Conference USA battle featuring 2 future Big East teams. DePaul, if the tournament had to pick a field of 65 today, would likely be in. Marquette would likely be out. You could certainly argue both those points, but Marquette probably needs to win its remaining games, and right now shooting the ball well, but turning it over 6 times.
Both teams shooting the ball extremely well. I don't see how you could keep DePaul out of the tournament if it started today. Their RPI is too strong. Their wins are too good. They're playing excellent basketball over the last 10. Marquette does not have anything like that on their resume right now, in my opinion.
Chapman off the screen. Novak was free for a moment, but good recovery by Diener. Mason baseline. Shot clock down to 10. Mason firing and scoring from 15. First basket of the game for Damian Mason. We're tied again at 19 points. Mason has only scored 15 points in his last 3 games after averaging right around 12 points per game for most of the year. Greer is out of the game right now for DePaul. Drake Diener has not touched it in a while on offense. Here he touches, fires, missed the 3. But an offensive rebound and stick back by Marlon Brumfield.
Enough big bodies between Brumfield and Thompson and Greer that they can do damage on the offensive glass. You break them down on film, Dave, they are terrific at weak side sealing off and getting extra possessions and extra shots on you. Oh, nice lift fake, wasn't it, by Townsend?
Too strong with the shot, though. Mason is there. Stripped. Got it back. Chapman for 3. Marquette back up 1. Chapman had a big game earlier this year against UAB when he made his first 5 3-point shots.
Matchup zone. You see Marquette pointing, talking about, I got the next guy around. They're in their matchup zone right now, and you must locate folks.
Link scales missing. DePaul back on defense, so Mason will slow it up. Marquette not afraid to let DePaul shoot from the outside.
But you know what? DePaul's a team that is #1 in this league defending the 3-point shot, holding folks at 29%. The reason why, with the exception of a small Clinkscale kid, they're long and lanky on the perimeter to cover you up.
Offensive foul on Marquette. Next weekend, two-time defending champion Tiger Woods returns as the top 64 golfers on the planet go one-on-one. ABC's coverage of the World Golf Championships Accenture Match Play Championship begins with late Friday and Thursday highlights. Live action next Saturday at 3 Eastern, Sunday at 2 Eastern right here on ABC Sports.
Dave, there are some terrific shooters in this ball club. Both Diener guys and Novak for Marquette. So if you're attached and you're locked into one of those guys defensively today, you play the game with a mentality of, I refuse to be screened. If a screen comes and seeks me out, I'm not going to accept it. I'm going to fight through it and make sure I stay locked on to a shooter. There's 3 guys today you better have that mentality with.
That foul was on Mason, by the way, for Marquette, his first. 4th team foul, 7th turnover by Marquette. Shot clock down to 11. Mejia in the paint. High arcing shot won't fall. Townsend there.
Mejia, though, has the ability to get into the lane. Now it's just a matter of whether or not he hits shots. And again, Novak hitting shots out of early offense for Marquette. That was a transition push, a little bit of a secondary break for Marquette, and that's when they're most dangerous, in my opinion.
3rd 3 for Steve Novak. 11 points for the 6'10" junior from Brown Deer, Wisconsin. All-time leader at Marquette in three-point percentage. Greer back in. Another rainbow. Brumfield with a couple of offensive rebounds, but walked. Brumfield, a monster on the glass, but traveled.
To talk about refusing to be screened in this ball game. Watch number 33 in the blue at the bottom of your screen. He's locked in on Novak. That's his man. You see a headhunter screen come down to him, but he refuses to be screened and gets his shoulder low and turns around that screener. That's a great job defensively by Drake Diener on that possession.
A 13-4 start for Marquette. DePaul went on a run. Now Marquette's on a 10-2 run. Offensive rebound by Ousmane Barrow, and he was fouled. Marquette by 4 with 3:42 to play in the first. You're watching ABC Sports Championship Television. Not even close comparing the two.
I think they're in a little bit better shape, but you got a bunch of clubs right now, in my opinion, across the country, like the South Carolinas and Indianas and West Virginia, Miami, Virginia Tech, Minnesota. They are in we must win every game type mode. If not, they will be sitting and watching instead of playing.
Marquette currently 9th in the conference, 5-7 in the league. DePaul is 8-3 in the league, a game and a half out of first place. So if DePaul wins today, it'll stay 1 game back of Louisville and Charlotte, the top spot. Diener fouled on his way to the hoop. Sixth-team foul on DePaul. That's on LeVar Seals, his second.
Diener, the only player to ever lead his conference USA in scoring and assists. Needs to still improve his body and needs to improve his on-ball defense if his goal is to get to the NBA. The toughness factor, the confidence factor, that's not in question. He runs an offense and a pick-and-roll system that really suits him for a pro-style game. But he's got to get more consistent and be a knockdown, terrific, wide-open three-point shot.
Misses the 3 that time after missing his second free throw of the day. He's an 85% free throw shooter. Correction, that was the 17th foul on DePaul, hence the 1-and-1. But Diener struggling at the line. Still feeling the effects from a stress fracture suffered earlier in the year. Foul before the block by Barrow. Next Saturday, ABC goes coast to coast to bring you a great lineup of regional college basketball. At 1 Eastern, you'll see either Duke St. John's or Missouri, Texas. Those of you on the West Coast will see Stanford take on Oregon at 4 Pacific. Check local listings for the game in your area. Missouri and Texas, 2 teams that you could say are on the bubble. A lot of people thought that that would be impossible earlier in the year in the case of Texas, but they've lost some players due to academics and injuries.
They've kind of righted their ship a little bit recently. Missouri, I don't think you could even say is on the bubble. That's a club that has really struggled, Dave, and they're trying to find their way with young talent this year. But there's just a bunch of them. I mean, how can you mention Indiana, in my opinion? I know not everyone's going to agree. How can you say Indiana is on the bubble? They are 11-11 with an RPI of 89. Now, come on.
And then you have a team like Iowa State that nobody's talking about.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they win 7 in a row. They're right back in the thick of things in the Big 12. And their tournament resume looks pretty good right now.
Well, that's what Marquette's banking on right now as well. Finishing out undefeated in Conference USA play from this day forward, and then going deep, maybe all the way to the finals in the tournament to try to get a shot into that large berth.
Barrow gets his first basket after the Conference USA leader in assists, Travis Diener. makes the dish. Drake Diener missing the three, and Barrow with the rebound. But throws it away. Pull up by Burns. Greer and Barrow fight for it. Nichols comes down with it and scores.
DePaul is absolutely wearing them out right now on the offensive glass. DePaul keeping three big bodies around that rim, and as a result, really sealing off the weak side well. Their want to right now is a little bit more than Marquette.
Novak out of control, hit Drake Diener right in the mud. And the ball bounces into the hands of Travis Diener. Marquette's turned it over 8 times, and it could easily be 10 or 11.
Again, just keep an eye on the mid-possession baskets that Marquette gets in any ball game, not just this one.
Novak's already hit 3, make it 4 threes in the game, and he's got 14 points, almost half of Marquette's total.
But it came with a late possession shot clock winding down, and Diener just making a play and finding his buddy spotted up Novak on the weak side. What you appreciate about Novak, late in the possession at 6'10", you can find him with vision. The shot clock's winding down, and look at Diener. I mean, he knows I got a 6'10" target I can throw a high skip pass to let him get his feet set and stroke it on you. Early baskets out of Marquette, late baskets out of Marquette. You better try to defend them.
Marquette has 12 field goals, 11 assists, 6 of them by Travis Diener coming into the day. He averages 7, 11th in the country.
I talked about defending shooters in this ball game. Early in the ball game, Drake Diener in blue on the left side is going to work off of a screen. Now you see 40 for Marquette. He's actually the guy that's guarding the screener. That's Mike Kinsella. Watch what he does. He doesn't have an awareness of what's going on and actually sets a double screen on his buddy Travis Diener. It's not just the guy guarding the shooter, Dave, that you have to be concerned with when a guy like Drake Diener is on the floor against you. All 5 guys have to have an awareness. You got to open up. You got to pull guys through screens. If you have to grab your teammate by the jersey and pull him through the screen to get him through, that's what you have to do, guarding a shooter as good as the 2 Dieners.
Coaches talk about team defense. I guess you could say that was lack of team defense.
Lack of team defense, and that's why Travis Diener had a burr in his saddle as he headed up the floor afterwards. Tom Crean jumped his rear about it, and Travis Diener had an argument.
Offensive foul on DePaul. Going to go on Nichols, his first. Coming up on the UBS halftime report, Terry Gannon and Rick Majerus break down all the happenings in college basketball today and yesterday. Great games yesterday, great finish between Oklahoma, Kansas State, Iowa State, and Kansas.
You see teams playing with an urgency like Oklahoma right now, as they better be playing with, because again, their margin of error is not great right now either.
Marquette with a 5-point lead, led by 9 early. DePaul made a run, but the Golden Eagles have bounced back. Novak with a nice feed to Barrow.
I mean, you just got to be able to score when you catch the ball 6 feet from the rim on that block.
Shot clock at 3. Diener, and Barrow is fouled with 2 on the timer. What a pass by Travis Diener. It won't go down as an assist, but still a great dish with time running out on the shot clock.
And you look up, you're exactly right. There's 2 on the shot clock. And again, I think that's when Marquette really thrive. They thrive when there's 25 to 30 on the shot clock and 7 or less. That time Diener just finds Usman on that low block, a kid that's only played organized ball for 2.5 years. Has a great upside right now, just a freshman at 6'10".
11 of 17 at the foul line this year, make it 11 of 18. Marquette has not made a free throw in this game, 0 for 3. And Diener missed 2 of them, which never happens. Tom Crean went to the Final Four 2 years ago. Marquette did not even make the tournament last year. Won 19 games. This year they only have 17 wins, but a worse record in conference play than they had a year ago when they were left out. Keep that in mind if you're thinking about where Marquette stands in the field of 65. So they're blocked by Barrow, but a foul before the shot. That will go against Chapman for Marquette. That's his 2nd personal foul. 16 fouls on Marquette.
DePaul's got a couple of big guards on the perimeter that Tom Crean has to be concerned with right now, keeping them out of the lane. Now he at 6'5", he understands, number 11 in blue, how to stay low with his dribble though and penetrate into that paint area and create plays for his teammates.
Todd Townsend back into the game. Chapman will go to the bench. Marcus Jackson returning as well, replacing Barrow. Well, the guy at the foul line right now, Lorenzo Thompson, had a career day in his first meeting with Marquette, had a perfect day. 6 of 6 from the floor, 5 of 5 from the line, 17 points. And he's perfect on that trip to the foul line, and DePaul's within 4.
I think the pace of the game in this first half, both teams are comfortable with it. They like to play the games in the 60s. That's where we are right now. Just kind of a toe-to-toe, blow-to-blow type game so far.
9th turnover by Marquette. Had 19 turnovers in the first meeting, a loss. And on the other end, a slam dunk for Greer.
Boy, terrific penetration in again by a 6'4", 6'5" perimeter player, Burns, to drive that ball to the paint and have vision. And you got to appreciate the effort of Greer to get out and run that lane and be there.
Greer with 11 now. Another near turnover. Put him in a foul on Drake Diener, but no call. And the shot clock is off. 12 seconds remaining in the half, and Tom Crean wants time. Well, Novak has been terrific so far in this first half. 14 points. 4 threes in the game.
Talk about the big guards of DePaul and their ability to get into the lane. Just penetration of that basketball right now. Number 2, Draylon Burns, a 6'5" freshman, and that's what sets up Cumont Greer on the weak side. Greer's a guy that's a maximum effort guy. He's kind of like Jason Maxiell at Cincinnati. He might miss shots, he might miss rebounds, he might get into foul trouble, but he is going to bring it. Greer right there with a headband for 40 minutes. That's all you can ask.
Jimmy TV's #1 new guilty pleasure has everybody guessing, including us, what will happen next. An all-new Desperate Housewives tonight, 9/8 Central, only on ABC.
Well, Marquette is desperate for a win. Not only today, but the remaining regular season schedule and deep into the tournament. Speaking of desperate.
Greer 11 points, 2 rebounds. His shots have been anything but desperate. Hit a 3, had some easy looks inside as well. 7 seconds remaining in the half. Novak's already hit 4 threes. Diener in the corner with 2 on the game clock. At the buzzer, Diener. Still Marquette has a lead going into the locker room.
And there's an example of DePaul's ability to get out and cover up three-point shooters. They switched nicely on Novak, took his 3 away, and then they challenged the grill of Travis Diener on the fadeaway 3.
Stay tuned. Terry and Rick are up next from the studio. At halftime, Marquette leads DePaul 31-29. Marquette 31, DePaul 29 as we get ready for the second half. At halftime, Earl Tatum, that is number 43, retired, was a member of those great Al McGuire teams in the mid-70s, along with Bo Ellis, a current assistant coach here at Marquette. Who knows, one day Travis Diener, number 34 in gold, might have his number retired. Tatum, one of 2 Marquette players with 100+ wins. Diener in the first half, only 5 points, but did have 6 assists. And again, who knows, maybe one day Diener, who currently leads the conference in scoring and assists, might have his number retired. Interesting first half when you look at how both teams scored. Marquette doing it from the outside, DePaul doing it on the inside.
Yeah, and Marquette shooting that basketball awfully well from the three-point line against the #1 three-point defense in Conference USA, DePaul. Again, early offense and now late possession basket for Marquette. I think that's where they really shine because they lack a true low-post score. They must have those baskets. Try to face guard Greer. He's still good enough to get an offensive board. Step out with his versatility. If he has time to measure a three-point shot, he's better than average from out there. But it's been the ability of DePaul to make plays in the paint. They have 18 points, DePaul does, in this basketball game in the paint. Marquette has kept pace and some above with 18 points off the three-point shot.
Marquette started the game with a 13-4 run and closed out the half on a 16-6 run to lead DePaul by 2. Blue Demons currently 4th in the conference, but only a game back of first place if they win today. Marquette's in 9th place, has not beaten any of the teams ahead of them in the standings. Drake Diener from outside. He's been quiet, 2 of 6 from the floor, only 5 points. Now foul on Marquette. Travis Diener committing his 2nd personal foul. Our first half stats, both teams shoot it pretty well. Marquette 6 out of 13 from three-point land there. Again, the points of the paint. 18-6 favoring DePaul.
Look at the assists for Marquette. 11 assists on 12 made baskets in the first half. That kind of tells you the flavor and the style they like to play. They don't have guys that can really just break you down and break off the offense and go get a shot.
9 turnovers committed in the first half by Marquette. 19 in the first, meaning a loss against DePaul as Mejia gets inside and gets his second field goal.
Mejia is very difficult now to keep out of that lane area as a 6'5" perimeter player. The reason why, when he puts the ball on the deck, he gets his shoulders low and plays the game like a 6-foot guard in a 6'5" frame.
Greer led DePaul with 11 in the first half. Mejia only had 3, but gets off to a good start here in the second half. Novak picking up in the second half where he left off in the first half. He's got 16 points and 6 of 8 from the field. On the other end, a great block by Jackson, and Townsend controls.
Good job by Seals to pick up Diener at the half court, getting to one side or the other.
Chapman draws the foul. Will go to the line for a pair. First foul in the half on DePaul.
Novak throughout his career has been a catch and shoot 3-point guy, and so far he's made 2 2-point baskets in the ball game. You say, well, that's only 4 points, but that's a huge 4 points for Marquette and Steve Novak, because if not, he becomes a pretty one-dimensional player.
Former 6th man of the year 2 years ago. Started last year, averaged 13 a game. Averaging 13 a game this year is Novak. Already 16 in the contest.
Saw those guys talking at halftime. Jarris and Terry Gannon. I think the #1 seeds, if they came out today, you would have to, I think, Illinois, North Carolina, Boston College, Kansas, and Wake. They got those 5 right, and then from then on, you got teams like Oklahoma State now that are starting to play their way up in that Big 12. That's going to be very difficult to handle. They play that tough man-to-man defense that could give a team like North Carolina all kinds of problems.
Chapman commits his 3rd personal foul, 2nd on Marquette in the half. Brumfield committed his 3rd personal for DePaul, the previous Marquette possession. Anybody else, Jimmy, on the outside you think could sneak up into that 1 seed?
Well, I think you got to look at Arizona out west. I mean, that's a club that they've run the table in the Pac-10. A huge game next week at Washington. Win the Pac-10 tournament. They could possibly sneak in there and get one, but there's a lot of games left to be played. That #1 seed and #2 seed is still a lot to be determined.
I think Terry and Rick showed us one of the more surprising stats we've seen all year, with the Pac-10 being #2 in the RPI in terms of conferences. Diener scores his 7th point of the game, and it's a 5-point Marquette lead.
I think that's another question mark on Travis Diener as far as the NBA. Can he penetrate and finish at the rim when opportunities are there? He just did it that time.
7 points, 7 assists for Diener. Greer, tough shot inside. Another offensive rebound for DePaul. Seals can't finish, though, and Jackson pulls it down.
Seals again, 3 in blue, doing a good job of getting Diener to one side or the other in transition. Now he gets burned on a ball pick.
Townsend fouled hard.
Talk about Travis Diener, his ability to get to the rim and finish. I think a lot of teams in this league will challenge him to make shots like that at the rim, something he hasn't done consistently over his career. But as far as his toughness, his leadership, the attitude he brings to the floor, the confidence that he has in himself grades out at a maximum level.
Second foul on Cumont Greer. Marquette really struggling with the foul line. 2 out of 7 as a team.
Well, the other thing I think you got to at least mention about Travis Diener. Watched him play in person twice now. I've watched him on film 2 or 3 times. He gets to the free throw stripe about 7 times a ball game. If the officials called every time he got fouled, he may average 13 or 14 free throw attempts a game, because he gets hammered on.
Some people compare him to Scott Skiles, Steve Nash. Do you see that resemblance or no?
In some areas of his game, he's not as good an athlete. He's not physically as tough and as strong as Nash and Skiles. Those guys, they've got just enough body strength to hold up in the NBA. I'm not sure Diener has it yet.
Here's Travis's cousin, Drake Diener. Drake's brother, Drew, an assistant on the DePaul staff. And a travel by Draylon Burns.
One of the original 13 rules of the first basketball game ever was you cannot travel with the ball.
Cliff Clinkscales will come into the game to replace Draylon Burns.
And Marquette forced to play a true half-court offensive possession here. I think they've struggled with that area this year. They're again Good in transition early and good at late possession baskets.
Here they got the shot clock down to 13. Marquette scored on every possession, 4 of them here in the second half. Townsend looked like he got hit in the arm, but no call. Now Chapman for 3.
Another late possession basket right there by Marquette. The shot clock was winding down. The shot had to be taken at 5 or 6. And Diener and Chapman, those guys, they thrive, I think, in that situation.
9-0 run by Marquette. Back in Milwaukee, Dave Pasch with Jimmy Dykes. Must win for Marquette if it wants to keep its NCAA tournament hopes alive. DePaul has some breathing room, but the Blue Teams are thinking about winning a second straight regular season crown in Conference USA. Marquette off to a great start, much like the first half, scoring on every possession to start the half.
Travis Diener again influencing this ball game, both as a shooter and as a setup guy. I think you've got to really get into him defensively, be physical with him for 40 minutes. If he separates, he can hurt you, as well as his cousin.
Drake Diener missing in an offensive foul. DePaul is 0 for 5 from the floor. Last 5 trips down. Diener is struggling shooting the basketball. He's 2 out of 6 from the field, 1 of 4 from behind the arc. He is coming off a 25-point night against Charlotte on Wednesday.
DePaul trying to finish in the top 4 in Conference USA, and that's awfully important because the top 4 in this league get a first-round bye, which means you only have to win 3 games in the Conference USA tournament instead of 4 straight, and that is huge.
Yeah, tough to win 4 in a row on 4 nights. Jackson, nice strip by Seals. Greer in the open court. Nicely done.
Well, that's the expertise that Greer has in his game to bring it from one end to the other in traffic and finish. He's an NBA player, 45 in blue.
Offensive foul on the other end by Todd Townsend. 9-0 run ended by Greer, 40-33 Marquette. You're watching ABC Sports Championship Television. Marquette has turned it over twice this last 2 times down the floor, but still leads DePaul 40-33. Was a 2-point lead for Marquette at halftime. Golden Eagles at 5-7 in conference play, trying to bounce back after that tough loss to Louisville on Thursday. They did not score in the final 5.5 minutes. Blew an 11-point lead against the Cardinals. Drake Diener finally scoring. He had been really struggling, no points in the last 16 minutes, but ends it there with a 3.
When Marquette didn't recognize in their matchup zone, it was Novak that time that didn't realize that Drake Diener was in his area, and Diener's going to burn you when that happens.
Brumfield playing with 3 fouls, able to outmuscle Kinsella for the rebound. Seals with no one to pass to, just threw it up there, and Kinsella clears. Seals were looking to pass that ball all the way. Townsend nearly traveled. Now here's Travis Petey. And he's fouled by Klingscales, first on him. Coming up after the game, time permitting, the Cialis post-game report. 3 games going on right now on ABC. And Georgia Tech, Florida State, Pittsburgh, Villanova in this game here, Marquette and DePaul. All very important games this time of the year in conference play. A lot of teams in those 3 leagues, and these 3 games airing on ABC. On the ball as Townsend slams it home.
Terrific play by Townsend to drift off of the penetrating pass and get himself in the vision and then attack the rim. Didn't stand and watch, played the pass, 1 pass ahead, and got himself 2 points because of it. Marquette again in the matchup zone. All 5 guys must understand 33 in blue is shooting the ball as well as anyone in the country. He's in your area, you're man-to-man with that guy, whether he has it or doesn't have it.
Brumfield down low, got Jackson in the air and puts it home off the window.
They have more scoring in the low block area, DePaul does, than Marquette. That could be the deciding factor in this ball game when it's all said and done.
By the way, Marquette is out rebounding DePaul by 5, and DePaul has yet to win this season, 0-5, when it's been out rebounded. Chapman on the drive, and he's fouled. 5 team fouls on DePaul. They get Mejia there. That's his 2nd personal.
Talked about the defending shooters in this ball game in a matchup zone. You see Novak, number 20 in yellow. He has no idea where Drake Diener is, so he gets sealed as an inside defender and can't recover to the shooter in the corner. You cannot allow yourself, if Diener is in your area, to be screened. I don't care if you're playing man or zone, refuse the screens today and recover to both Dieners. Doesn't matter what jersey color they have on. If it says D-I-E-N-E-R on the back of their jersey, don't be screened when they're near you.
Travis and Drake, cousins, very good friends, played together in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Both seniors. This will be their final scheduled meeting. Could meet in the Conference USA tournament, but otherwise this is it. Travis is 5-2 against Drake, looking to go to 6-2 as Chapman goes to the bench and Damian Mason returns. Marquette leading by 6, 13:39 to go. Both are the career leaders, by the way, Travis and Drake, in threes made at their respective schools. Not a bad legacy to leave.
Now they got a no-catch policy on Drake Diener. You got a box right now with 4 guys, and Townsend at 6'7", chasing Drake Diener man-to-man. The assignment for Townsend right now, as he works on Diener along the baseline, is not let him catch it. Face guard, do not let 33 in blue catch the basketball.
Foul on Marcus Jackson. Second personal on Jackson. 14th foul on Marquette. Here's Greer. Great tip by Lorenzo Thompson after somehow Greer's shot didn't drop.
See where it came from again. It's sealing off the weak side on the offensive glass. It was DePaul. They're as good as anybody in this league at those weak side offensive rebounds.
It seemed like they completely dominated the offensive glass in the first half, but actually offensive rebounds were even at halftime, 5 apiece. Offensive foul.
You know, and I would say that's Travis Diener's fault. He sees a ball screen coming. He's got to be patient enough to wait for the screener to get set before he starts his move. He got a little anxious and went early, and as a result, the screener gets called for a moving screen.
Third personal on Marcus Jackson, 5th foul on Marquette in the half. DePaul with a chance to cut the lead to 2 or 1 with a 3. Greer can put it on the floor. Townsend right in the shirt of Drake Diener. Shot clock inside of 10 seconds. Greer too strong with it. Last touch by Seals of DePaul.
Tom Crean knows their margin for error is nil from this point forward. They have to win tonight, this afternoon, and they got to keep winning. I think probably all the way to the finals of the conference tournament for an at-large bid. Quality wins just aren't there.
Mason short with it. DePaul almost tipped it in, and Seals comes out of there with it. Marquette plays at Cincinnati on Thursday. Game that'll be on ESPN. As Mejia misses badly, but Greer able to track down the rebound. Marquette also with games against Houston and St. Louis to wrap up the regular season before the Conference USA tournament.
You look at Houston right now, they have a 2-game lead over Marquette in the conference standings, and their RPI is the same. So they're making the argument right now, if Marquette's trying to get on the bubble, where are we?
NCAA basketball on ABC Sports will continue after this message. And a word from our back at the Bradley Center with Jimmy Dykes, Dave Pash. Marquette leading DePaul by 4. Drake Diener with 8 points. Travis Diener with 7 points. And there's Travis's dad, Bob Diener, in attendance. A family affair with the Dieners. Everybody playing basketball. Travis, Drake. Travis's sisters, Rachel and Brittany, both play college basketball. Drake's brother, Drew, an assistant coach at DePaul.
Do you have a choice to be involved with basketball if your last name's Diener? I don't think so.
It's going to be the same way in the Dykes family, isn't it?
Hopefully one of these days. You have no options. In the game stays just a toe-to-toe type affair. When it's played in the 60s, that's where they're most comfortable, and Travis just goes and creates a basket. He's the best they have at doing it.
9 points now for Travis Diener. Marquette back up 6. As we near the 11-minute mark here in the second half, Marquette has blown double-digit leads at this stage of the game. The last 3 contests, winning only 1, and that came in overtime in the last second shot by Diener. Mejia fouled, Did not get the shot, though.
You know, 4 of the keys in this ball game for Marquette, and one of them was keep Mejia out of the lane. Tom Crean talked about it at length with me last night. I'm sure he's covered it with his club the last couple of days. And Mejia's a guy now at 6'5". Do you think, can he get in the penetration area with quickness? No, but because he lowers his shoulders and becomes a 6-foot guard skill-wise, he gets in there and gets himself to the free throw strike.
Townsend back into the game. Chapman with 4 personal fouls heads to the bench.
One of the other keys for Marquette, Dave, was to get the ball inside and put the pressure on Cumont Greer to be a defender. They have not graded out well in that area. Marquette hasn't.
Mejia with 5 points in the game, averages 12 points per game in the season. Mason in trouble, but gets it to Townsend. And a reset with Dean.
Again, they take away the mid-possession strike ability of Marquette, and now Marquette goes into their late possession offense.
Jackson driving hard, offensive foul. You can see that one coming from half court.
Out of control.
It's Judgment Week, presented by Sharp this week on ESPN. Monday night at 7 Eastern. Chris Thomas and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on the 18th rated UConn Huskies, followed by Kansas. Had a rough week. See how they respond against Oklahoma, 9 Eastern on ESPN.
It just every game, just about, unless it's a 10 versus 11 type game, so many implications. You're either trying to play your way into the tournament, you're trying to improve your seed if you're already a lock. Again, I think you look at the teams like Marquette, South Carolina, Indiana, West Virginia. Those teams got a lot of work ahead of them.
2-shot foul, no intentional foul, as Mason is pushed on his way to the hoop.
Great vision out of Travis Diener. He had that skill when he came here as a true freshman. Ability to get the ball off the defensive end and immediately go into attack mode. Now, I'm not so sure that this is not the most valuable guy to his team that there is in the country. I'm not saying he's the most valuable player in the country, but you take Travis Diener off of Marquette, I'm not even sure they struggle to be a 500 club. That's how important he is to Marquette.
One of 2 players in the country leading their conference in scoring and assists. Diener also led his conference last year in scoring and assists. First time ever in Conference USA somebody did that.
Cousy Award finalist, which goes to the nation's top point guard. Some dandies out there for him to compete against this year, huh? Chris Paul, Raymond Felton, Darren Williams. I would give the award to Darren Williams right now if I was the guy on the Bob Cousy selection committee, because the #1 role for a point guard is to win basketball games. No one's done it better than Darren Williams.
Darren Williams hasn't lost a basketball game this season.
They got a chaser again in Townsend, #1 in yellow. Don't let Drake Diener touch it. It's his assignment for someone else to make a shot.
Another offensive rebound for DePaul. Mejia pushed on the backside as he tried to snare the rebound off the miss from Thompson. That's Travis Diener's 3rd personal foul. 18th foul on Marquette. Diener has 3. Chapman and Jackson both have 4, and those are 3 starters for Tom Crean.
I tell you what, DePaul, again, they do an outstanding job. Every time the shot's taken, they have a guy on that weak side that thinks, every missed shot belongs to me. There's the shot. Look at the weak side rebound come in, and a push results in a foul call. I mean, this is a club that understands their roles, and Dave Lato's done an outstanding job of teaching weak side offensive rebounding.
How about the effort by Thompson? Almost came down with that basketball. Travis Diener now for Marquette.
Yeah, they've done a great job all game long, I think DePaul has, of stopping the penetration and the playmaking ability of Diener in transition.
Big basket by Damian Mason, only an 18% three-point shooter in Conference USA games, but that basket gives Marquette a 10-point edge.
They've covered up Drake Diener in this half so far, Marquette has.
Here's Mejia from outside. A brick. Mason the rebound. That's not DePaul's strength. 3 out of 12 from 3 today. Novak in transit. Offensive foul.
And Tom O'Neal and Tom Crean are having a stare down on that sidelines. You give the ball to a big, and Novak is a big. You've got to make sure that this is a guy that can make a play. And he's definitely charging towards the rim and can't see if the defender has his feet set in his established position. And I think that's a bad call because Novak had left his feet and the defender was still moving in to establish position.
Can't do that. Can't slide under a man when he's up in the air. And the point lead right now for Marquette. 14th turnover of the game by the Golden Eagles. A lot of guys in foul trouble. Novak with 2, but remember, Diener has 3 and 2 guys have 4. Nice move there by the freshman from Milwaukee, Draylon Burns, for the ball.
You have to pick it up on a scouting report. 2 or 3 times a ball game, Burns is going to penetrate the lane and spin opposite of the way he was going. Good example of that time, got him an open look.
Travis and Drake guarding each other here.
Oh, terrific. Terrific on the ball screen, and that time Travis Diener waited for the screener to get there, and that's what made the play. Diener was patient with the ball in his hands. The ball screen was set. Boom. Then he operated.
Diener versus Diener. Marquette versus DePaul here in Milwaukee with Jimmy Dykes. I'm Dave Pash. Postseason implications in this game. The Cousins have combined for 17. 9 for Travis, 8 for Drake. But Travis has 7 assists in this game, along with a couple of rebounds. If Marquette wins this game, it will help itself in the eyes of the selection committee, but Golden Eagles have to do a lot more than win here today. DePaul is in pretty good shape with a 16-6 record, 8-3 in the league, but Dave Lato would love to get a win here on the road and really solidify its position in the NCAA tournament, maybe improve its seeding. 3 weeks away from Selection Sunday. Hard to believe another season's almost over. Barrow misses, and Marquette 8 out of 14 at the foul line in this game.
You could almost start counting the number of possessions left in this ball game for both clubs because of the feel that it has. As a result, Drake Diener knows that, so he inserts himself into the game by firing up a quick 3. He has the confidence and the ability to make them.
The leading 3-point shooter in Conference USA games, Drake Diener, the all-time leader at DePaul in threes made, makes it a 6-point game. Remember, Marquette has blown last 3 games, double-digit leads with about 10 minutes to play. Barrow down low, great block by Brumfield.
4 or 5 times in this ball game, Marquette has executed a set play to get the ball to the high percentage spot, and they just haven't made it. That's what they've lacked all year.
DePaul has so many guys that do different things. Got to be a tough team to meet up with in the NCAA tournament if you don't have a lot of time to scout them.
You know what? And it helps them defensively because they can switch out and they don't drop off a lot. Again, their guards and their wings are big guys that can cover on the low block enough to let you help and recover because of it.
Drake over Travis.
Oh,
what
wow.
a shot.
Here we go.
The Diener that's less heralded with a beautiful move on his cousin, a 7-1 run by DePaul.
And that's the old driveway after the Thanksgiving dinner play right there. That thing has been executed many times up in Fond du Lac.
What's funny is how competitive they are. Drake said if Travis gets no points and we win, that's the best possible day. Novak fouled on his way to the hoop. Final time, at least that's scheduled. Travis and cousin Drake will go head-to-head. The beautiful dish by Travis Diener, 7 assists for him. Drake Diener with 13 points, including 3 threes of the game. They pass with Jimmy Dykes in Milwaukee, where the Diener cousins have both come alive here in the second half.
Travis Diener having more of an impact on this game as a passer. He has knocked down 1 3-point shot in this ball game for 9 points. But again, it's his ability to influence the game in other areas right now is why Marquette has a 4-point lead. His cousin Drake, if you can get him to bounce into a shot, I think you've done all you can do. You let him step up and shoot 3-point shots, and right now he's 3 for 7 in this ball game from beyond the arc. Then you're asking for a knot to swell up on your head because Drake Diener is shooting the ball as well as anyone in the country right now.
Wouldn't think that he'll be on that bench very long. Novak has only 2 points this half, and that came very early after 14 first-half points. He is one of the best free throw shooters in the country at 88%.
You watch Marquette on the free throw stripe here. If you get a wide shot of it, they're inside guys. They make a great effort to run a little free throw play and get to the rim. If you're DePaul, you better step in and pinch and not let a missed free throw by Marquette hurt you in this ball game because they're consistent with their effort.
Marquette has lost only 17 times At the Bradley, Tom Crean is the head coach.
Now Novak is chasing Drake Diener. I'm not in love with that defensive assignment because Novak has already in this ball game been burned 2 or 3 times when Drake Diener's been in his area. So Novak has to have a good couple of minutes here as the no-catch defender on 33 in blue.
Shot clock at 7. Diener left free for a moment. He'll kill you.
There's my point. I don't think Novak understands the importance of not letting Drake Diener get shots off. It was a tough shot, but still, it was a shot that Drake Diener can make.
16 points for Drake Diener, 4 threes. He's got 17 threes in his last 3 games.
I know Tom Crean's thinking is Novak at 6'10" has a taller defender on Diener. But I think it's the mentality you play with before the catch on Drake Diener that's more important.
Tough shot by Townsend falling away. He has 7.
I think Townsend, number 1 in yellow, has done a better job as the no-catch defender on Drake Diener.
Diener has scored the last 8 points for DePaul. Greer in the lane. Wild shot. Last touch by DePaul. Only 2 points for Greer in the second half.
Again, you have to refuse to be screened. Novak, number 20 in yellow right here. He's guarding Drake Diener. Boom, gets screened right there, and as a result, doesn't get out. Drake Diener with the release, rotation, and the result. Another time before, about 3 possessions ago, Steve Novak again. He refuses to be screened. He doesn't understand that concept, and as a result, he's getting screened in this ball game, and Drake Diener's making him pay.
We talked about what kind of a pro Travis Diener might make. What about his cousin Drake?
Well, because he can shoot that basketball and he has a 6'5" body to work with, he's going to be a valuable guy in somebody's camp. Now, can he make enough other plays to earn a spot? I don't know. But again, he's a 6'5" shooting guard if there ever was one.
Yeah, Travis is about 6'1". Drake is about 6'5". 5-minute mark here in Milwaukee. Marquette needs this win badly. Under 500 in Conference USA. 5 on the timer. Diener, a 3.
Guts. Absolutely all guts right there out of Travis Diener. Not going to beat you with quickness, but he understands angles so well. The little step back move and the drop shot out of him.
Foot was on the line, so it's a 2-point basket. 11 points now for Diener. Averages 20 on the season.
Again, let's put the game into perspective. DePaul, if they win, they are locked for the NCAA tournament. I think they probably already are, but they're trying to improve their seed with quality wins like a Marquette at Marquette. Marquette, no room for error. They've got to win out right now.
Silly foul with only 3 seconds on the timer.
Look at Travis Diener again. That's not great quickness, but he creates just enough space with the step into you and the step back. And his dad, you know, he cheers with the same passion the cousins and sons play with. That's important.
7 assists for Travis Diener to go along with 11 points. Greer, a little banged up, will go to the bench. We talked about the fact that DePaul is probably in whether it wins or loses. Marquette needs everything because we haven't talked about teams like TCU. You did mention Houston earlier, but those are teams that are ahead of Marquette in the standings. UAB, another team that went to the Sweet 16 last year that is ahead of Marquette in the standings. Marquette hasn't beaten anybody this year ahead of the standings. That's another reason why this game is so important.
When you got to think about Memphis as well. They're sitting there 1 game out of first place in this league. They have a high RPI. Watch the head, but boom, right there. Head-to-head contact. These two teams play with that mentality, and that's what has Greer a little bit dazed on the bench right now. Again, I just don't trust that RPI. How can Memphis have an RPI of 109, and here they've had wins over St. Mary's, an NCAA team, DePaul, Louisville. Their losses are Syracuse, Maryland, Pitt, and Texas. They have a 109 RPI. Wichita State with a 41. Miami of Ohio with a 26. That makes no sense.
Vermont with a 15.
Makes no sense. Common sense index, CSI, has got to play in with that selection committee, and I think they'll end up doing a very good job of it. They have so far every year, in my opinion.
CSI Jimmy.
Has to be important.
Shot clock at 3. Novak. And seals the rebound.
Well, good job by those DePaul guards to get in there and help gain the rebound and make sure Marquette gets one right now.
Travis was on Drake Diener for a moment. Now it'll be Chapman who's got 4 fouls. And from the hash mark, Diener just misses there, and Townsend with a rebound. And then a foul on DePaul. Can the Golden Eagles hang on? They lead by 7 with 3:25 to play.
Terry Gannon with you from the studio. Pittsburgh's a top 3 team in the tough Big East, but they're in trouble today on the road at Nova. Allen Ray, one of his 5 3-pointers in the second half. Ray has 17. Villanova opened up with a surge in the second half, a 20-7 run. And right now, looks like they may pull off the upset over Pittsburgh, an 11-point lead. Nova at home rolling. Back to the guys.
All right, Terry, and as you look at these RPIs, it makes sense.
Well, it does make sense, and I think you've got to start giving real consideration to Boston College as possibly a #1 seed, and they weren't even mentioned 2 or 3 weeks ago when they still just had 1 loss. If Boston College's jersey said Syracuse or UConn or Pitt on it, everyone in the country right now would be saying Boston College is a #1 seed. That's not fair to the BC kids and the job Al Skinner's done.
Of course, Marquette, DePaul, Cincinnati, South Florida join the Big East Conference next year. Boston College will go to the ACC. Louisville, the other team that's going to the Big East from Conference USA. You got 7 teams probably from the Big East getting into the tournament right now. Imagine if you combine the teams that'll be in the Big East next year with the ones that are currently there. You can make a case for 10 or 11. Marquette with an 8-point lead over DePaul, 3:20 to play.
And they're about at the point DePaul is in this ball game, Dave. They have to be perfect every possession on the offensive end. They must get at least a point out of every possession. Another weak side rebound by DePaul. I'm telling you, they are outstanding in that area.
Dave Lato's done such a tremendous job with this program. They were down in the dumps for so many years after being a great team. Ray and Joey Meyer. But he's got them back. Went to the tournament last year. Should get there again this year. They tied for the regular season crown along with 4 other teams last year. If DePaul wins today, be only a game back of Louisville and Charlotte for the top spot this season.
Marquette in the same spot they were against Louisville on Thursday night. Can they finish off a game when they have the lead late in the ball game?
That was a big offensive rebound there. DePaul had a crack at it but couldn't hang on to the loose ball.
Yeah, the extra possession in the 35 seconds that'll tick off may be more important than the 2 points they'll score if they score.
Marquette didn't score in the final 5 minutes against Louisville. The Cardinals scored 14 to Marquette's none and erased an 11-point lead for Marquette and won the game on Thursday as Diener goes hard into the press table, but it's okay. Coming up next, join Mike Tirico, Nick Faldo, and Paul Azinger in LA for the Nissan Open. It's next right here on ABC Sports. LeVar Seals commits his 4th personal foul for DePaul. Travis Diener, one of the NCAA's best free throw shooters, will go to the line, although Diener is 0 for 2 at the stripe in this game.
If ever a kid that played the college game would be described as tougher than a new bride's biscuit, Travis Diener is it. I mean, he just wakes up every day thinking, who can I go chest to chest with today? Who can I throw an elbow at? Who can I throw a step back jumper on? That's how he thrives. And now again, DePaul has to be perfect on their offensive possessions they have left. They must score every possession, in my opinion.
The Marquette faithful sensing a victory, but they've been here before the last few games and haven't been able to close out teams. Will they in the final 2 minutes? Greer has only got 2 points in the second half after 11 in the first. Again misses, but Seals again on the backside with a putback.
You could splice together a film out of this ball game on how to weak side rebound by DePaul. They have been outstanding.
14 offensive rebounds for DePaul, 9 in the second half. Marquette taking time off the clock and a timeout called by Tom Crean with 17 to shoot. We mentioned the fact that Marquette has had trouble closing teams out. Talked about the Louisville game against East Carolina, ended up winning that game on a Diener last-second shot in overtime.
Yeah, I think if they would have pulled off the win against Louisville earlier this week and against Arizona in December, those would have been 2 quality wins for Marquette to hang their hat on. The only one they have right now is Wisconsin. You got to have more than that on your resume.
All right, Jimmy, what's your Cialis key moment?
It's got to be Travis Diener. One kind of play out of him is the difference in this ball game. Right now, I think you go back to that late possession basket that he got on his own, where he drove his guy in, used his elbow to shield off just enough to step back. Had he extended his arm fully, he would have got called for an offensive foul. But this is a guy that understands all the tricks and nuances of the offensive end of the game.
13 points for Diener, 7 assists in the game. DePaul has outscored Marquette 32-10 in the paint in this contest. Blue Demons might need some threes at the end of the game. Shot clock at 12. Diener, 4-3. From field, the rebound. DePaul can get it to 4.
It's a shot they wanted, though. Come out of the timeout, set a ball screen for Travis Diener. Let him get a pretty good look. You cannot let Drake Diener shake free right now and get a three-point shot.
Greer off the dribble, taking it all the way. Can't get the roll, but will go to the line. Well, Wednesday on ABC, see the show TV Guide is calling the hottest show of the year. It's never too late to get lost. Wednesday, 8, 7 Central only on ABC. Marcus Jackson is fouled out of the game for Marquette. And Greer will go to the line with 65 seconds remaining in the game. Marquette, a team that needs to probably win its remaining games. 2 games under 500 in Conference USA and an RPI of 83.
Well, I think they're a quality team, but again, they got in a log jam right now with a bunch of clubs that have kind of played their way out of the NCAA tournament over the last 3 weeks instead of playing their way in. As a result, they have margin of error of 0 right now, in my opinion.
Jimmy, you were saying the reason that those Arizona and Louisville games are counted as key losses are because those are games Tom Crean's team could have won.
Yeah, they're right there to finish them off, and they just couldn't make the plays to do it.
Greer, a 64% free throw shooter, 2 for 2 at the line today. And the Milwaukee native misses his first attempt.
They have to get a point out of this possession. 0 points out of this possession, and the game is probably over.
DePaul is a team 1 out of 6 at the line in the second half. 1 out of 7. Last touch by DePaul. It'll be Marquette basketball.
I'm not sure Marquette could ask for much more to be up 6 with just over a minute to go at home.
And DePaul's inability to knock down free throws in the second half, 6 out of 13 for the game, might be the difference. Townsend is a 77% free throw shooter. He's not the guy to foul. Neither is Travis Diener, who's fouled by his cousin Drake.
You know, and Travis is so good at recognizing where you are in the ball game. Score, time, momentum, they always influence shot selection, and they influence how Travis Diener plays the game. That time he was working off the ball, trying to come back to the ball, knowing that his cousin Drake was going to fight him hard. So he stayed into his body and forced the official to make a call. Another high IQ play out of 34 in yellow.
Well, he missed his first 2 free throws. You can bet as an 85% free throw shooter that he's going to get hot after that. Hot about missing him and hot with the basketball at the line. He's made 4 in a row. 8-point lead for Marquette. 50 seconds left.
That last possession that they came up empty, that's going to be the one that they look back on and realize we didn't quite get it done.
That one will hurt as well as Seals misses an easy one. And a timeout called by Marquette before Burns could get in there and tie up Diener. That's another reason why Travis Diener is one of the top players in college basketball.
I'm not sure Travis Diener is going to be a pro. You know, he's kind of working himself into probably a second-round pick, but there's no guarantee there. But he is an outstanding college basketball player.
Marquette at Cincinnati on Thursday, followed by home games against Houston and St. Louis. If the Golden Eagles can win those 3 and hold on to this victory here and be productive in the Conference USA tournament, they could get in. Of course, if they win the Conference USA tournament, they get the automatic bid. Here's our TGI Fridays game track. Drake Diener with an excellent game, 16 points. But Marquette shot it too well, 51% from the floor. And Travis Diener at 15 points and 7 assists.
15 assists for Marquette in this ball game. That tells you how they played the game. They shared the ball. They trusted their teammates. Travis Diener did a good job at giving the ball up today to open teammates, trusting that they would make a shot instead of trying to force one himself.
Novak quickly fouled, and he's another guy that you don't want to foul. He's an 88% free throw shooter. Even though DePaul probably loses today, dropping at 8-4, still a pretty good tournament resume.
Well, you look at their top 100 RPI record is 7-2. That bodes very well for them. They're still probably going to finish anywhere from, you know, a tie for second to third or fourth in this league. I just think their overall RPI and strength of schedule and key wins, those guys now are still trying to improve their seed in the field of 65, not so much trying to secure a spot to get in. I think they're in. Cannot say the same for the Indianas, the West Virginias, the Miamis, the Virginia Techs, and the Minnesotas of the world. They have a lot more work left to do.
Virginia Tech certainly helped itself this week beating Duke, but a lot of teams have beaten Duke lately. Brumfield fouled by Townsend. Probably not what you want to do if you're Marquette. Just let them get the dunk and get the game over. So DePaul a chance to get some points with the clock stopped, 29 seconds left. And if we know anything, Jimmy, based on what we've seen the last few weeks in college basketball with teams giving up large leads, 10-point lead may not be safe, right?
Not with a guy like Drake Diener on the floor. I mean, you go back, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Club San Diego State out west had a 10-point lead with 28 seconds to go and lost the game in overtime. So if you're thinking about leaving to go shovel snow, if you live in this area, then you might want to hold off for about 29 more ticks.
Brumfield gets them both. It's an 8-point Marquette lead.
We will see that San Diego State club on Big Monday at Wyoming in the Mountain West.
3 pretty good games on Monday. Kansas, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Connecticut as well on ESPN. DePaul has South Florida, St. Louis, and Louisville at home. And at UAB.
All winnable games, especially the first two, although St. Louis plays a style that can really frustrate you. The game at UAB will play a test. Mike Anderson's squad, tough loss yesterday to Cincinnati. But they get that game going back and forth and get 12 or 13 steals on you. You can lose a game on the road like that if you're DePaul.
Still, as you look back at what this program has been through the last 15 years with some really poor seasons, Dave Lato's done a tremendous job. They're at this stage of the season better than they've been since 1987. That was their Sweet 16 team. Drake Diener for 3. Another offensive rebound. Chapman with a clean strip. 18.9 on the clock. And Marquette by 10. Tom Crean hoping to close this one out and get his 18th win of the season, get within a game of 500 in the conference.
You know, DePaul kind of flying under the radar even in their own hometown right now because of the success that Illinois is having down the road from them. But Dave Lato's fine with that. He knows what his club can and can't do. He knows the toughness factor his team has brought into Conference USA. And they will not be an easy out. Not only in Conference USA tournament, but I think in March. They got guys that can score like Greer and Diener, and they fight you defensively hard enough to win ball games in March.
Imagine, Jimmy, if DePaul had Darrell Wright, who was signed but then went straight to the NBA along with every other high school senior last year. A breakaway for Mason, but a foul. No, not a foul. Mason just going to pull it out. And Marquette gets a much-needed win at home.
Marquette, in my opinion, they're not back on the bubble, but at least they can see the bubble. But there's a difference.
Marquette wins it 67-57. For Jimmy Dykes, I'm Dave Pasch saying so long. Now back to our studios, Terry and Rick.